Hello traders and welcome to the weekend edition. My name's Dez here at Grok Trade. This weekend edition is good through Sunday, December 9th, 2012, and it looks like we had unemployment rate dropping to 7.7 from 8.3%. Very nice. However, I am reading some news here on the unemployment, and author Peter Morisi says that in the weakest recovery since the Great Depression, most of the reduction in unemployment from its 10% peak in October 2009 has been accomplished through a significant drop in the percentage of adults working or looking for work. Were adult labor force participants or participation the same today, the unemployment rate would be 9.7. Adding more than 8 million part-time workers who can't find full-time work, the unemployment rate becomes 14.4%. It rose above 14% in the wake of the financial crisis and remains stuck there. Anyway, very sobering to say the least. Taking a look here at how Friday wrapped up. Mixed markets here. The S&P up 0.3%, the Dow up 0.6%, Nasdaq down 0.4%, Apple just took another beating. Russell's up a smidgen, banks off a smidgen. Volatility index way down by 4%, now below 16. Commodities not doing too bad. Gold up by almost 0.5%. Silver not quite as good. Crude oil down 0.4%. U.S. dollar up 0.2%. So we're seeing some strength here in the dollar, and we do have a trend reading at 0.51. Taking a look here at transportation, 0.24, lagging what we're seeing in the Dow, and utility index up just a fraction. We're going to be looking at some stocks, but let's first look at the broad markets here at the S&P. You can see that we're caught up amongst the moving averages and these two major trend lines. We're in the smack dab in the middle of it. We are building a little bit of a high base, but this is where things get really choppy, so be careful. On the weekly chart, check this out. Pay attention to the big, chunky, big blue lines. It gives you a nice symmetrical triangle. A rising wedge with the two blue lines. We had this drop, found support, we popped, but check this out. We're already slowing down on our ascent here, and we're finding resistance at the 20-week moving average. So it looks like we are finding weakness, like this is wanting to head down. Look at this higher swing high. Look what my MACD is doing. Lower swing high. There's your bearish divergence. Bad things could come from this weekly chart. On a monthly chart, have a major trend line coming down, this big chunky blue one, and then our main trend lines, rising wedge formation, and we're finding a lot of resistance here. The question is, will we start to break down from this resistance, or will we break out? As far as the weekly is concerned, we're showing weakness, so it shows us that we probably have a better chance of dropping than rising. However, if we do start to rise, it could be a significant rise, so the weekly chart would have a huge white candlestick right here if that were to happen. Be watching for that. On the daily, again on the S&P, we're building a high base just below the 50 moving average. And keep in mind that you are able to blow up this chart by clicking down in the bottom right hand corner, go full screen, and watch this in very clear high definition to see all the details. Take a look here at the Nasdaq. We're looking at the daily chart here. You can see the big triangle with the big trend lines. We did break down. Now what was support now is acting as resistance. We're caught up in the moving averages, but it's had a nice little rally, but we are in trouble. Here on the weekly chart, you can see that we broke below the main trend line, this blue one, and what was support now is resistance. Now we're caught between the 20 and the 50-day moving average. Anytime that happens, expect a big run one direction or the other. This looks like the kiss of death. It looks like it has a better chance of dropping now. And if you go here to the monthly chart, you can see we had a really nice run to the upside. Major trend line coming down. We do have resistance. We are above the major moving averages, which is really nice on the monthly chart. The question is, will this pop or drop? We're going into the apex. Stocks hate to be pinched. Markets hate to be pinched. I'm expecting a big move sometime soon. When I say soon, probably within a month, month and a half, maybe even 2 months, or any time between. I'm expecting a significant move. I don't expect it to happen until after Christmas, but anything, of course, could happen. Take a look here at the banks. If you look here at the banks on the monthly chart, the big chart, we're heading higher, 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 a little bull pullback. We got some support here. It needs to get over some resistance points. Now looking at the weekly chart, here's the problem. Big rising wedge, big bearish divergence, a little pop, finding resistance 20-week moving average. This thing could easily drop, crash, and burn. But what's interesting with this, I'll bring over to you FinViz. FinViz shows you for the week, financials doing the best. Financials doing fairly well. If you look here for the month, financials are second. For 3 months, best. So you don't want to root against that. Those are some strong numbers when you have financial sectors doing that well. That's even in the face of this drop. So we're going to need that to continue to keep this rally going. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple, I redrew some trend lines. Feast your eyes on these. We do have a little bit of a falling wedge here. If we do roll up higher here on the MACD, that would give us a pop. We could have a breakout, and it could be a sizable run to the upside. Problem is, we're below all major moving averages, and we do have upside resistance that we'll have to trudge through. But what happened on Friday is problematic. We did make a higher high, higher low, but the chances are chances increase now because of how significant of a drop this was on the volume that we did get on this. I mean, sizable volume here last few days, that we could see follow through on the way down. We do have support areas right here immediately at 530, 525 area, two big areas. Be watching those. And then this trend line coming down. If you look at a weekly chart, higher swing high, higher swing low. We did start to rally, but look at this on the weekly. We've already come crashing down, found support here, support, support, and support. The wick, the shadow touched this, which we have support, support, and resistance coming down. So it's really obvious, and that was to be expected. But big volume for the week on this drop. We could have followed through, and it could be nasty if it happens, but this would be a really good place to see it hang up and then rally back north. Might be some buying opportunities if in fact it does that. On the daily chart, you can see that pulled back to the support areas. We could be getting a double bottom, and that would give us a big W4 winner. And let's take a look at Facebook. Redrew some lines, and we have a symmetrical triangle. We cracked our head at resistance. Resistance, resistance, resistance. We could be breaking out here really soon. So be feasting your eyes on a Facebook play to the upside if that happens. Maybe look for something at 28 and some change. If you look here at a weekly chart on Facebook, it's popped up here a bit. So you know, it has a nice leg going. I'd like to see a few more bars here, a few more weeks going up. On the monthly chart, we've almost come back quite a bit. I mean, look at this big drop, 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 drop. Come back probably 80% of where it came from. Not too bad. And let's take a look at Google. Here, two big major trend lines in an uptrend, but now we go into this symmetrical triangle with the main trend lines on the daily chart. We hit the resistance, we stay at resistance. This might be looking to rally, but needs to get over the 50-day moving average. Be watching that. And on the weekly chart, we have this pop, drop, and it's starting to rally, but showing weakness already. This could be ready to drop again, but it could hit a support line with the trend line drawn right here, and it could just be coiling, waiting for a breakout or a breakdown. And on the monthly chart, it's dropped a little bit, but it's not losing any significant ground. And let's take a look at BIDU. BIDU, beautiful falling wedge. This is a nice play. We're getting a bullish divergence here. We could be at an area of buying opportunity, and on the weekly chart you can see that we have a big area right here, resistance coming across. So I could see this 86.66 area, about where that shadow went to. as being an area of support, and if we can stay above that area, it could be a buying opportunity. On the monthly chart, finding nice support here at the 50 month moving average. So again, nice support. So buying opportunities for BIDU, give that some consideration. And a shout out to Mark. Thank you so much for heading up the Stock Picks V newsletter each weekend. We like to screen our stocks fundamentally and then look for technical setups on those. And if you are interested in getting a bull list and a bear list to play both bullish and bearish plays, they are the best that we can find each and every week. I highly recommend that you go down here and click on Stock Picks V newsletter. And when you click on the Stock Picks V newsletter, you will be able to start getting a weekly V newsletter. V newsletter stands for video newsletter. And when you do that, I would recommend in the specials area, put in the code, your special code, put in 2 weeks. And when you put in 2 weeks, you get 2 weeks completely free. And looking forward to you guys making some money alongside of us. And make sure you also go through the 101 courses, and if those are free, and if you are more advanced than what the 101s are teaching, feel free to take and skip right to the 201s. Take care, safe trading, thank you for being a part of Grok Trade.